record. Right, welcome back. This week's market update. Obviously, it's not just Bitcoin, it's TradeFi as well. Before we get started, first things first, got to give a shout out to the sponsor. Apologies for your eyes. BloFin, as you guys know, we've been using BloFin for quite a while now. I use it for my day trading account. We do have a deal with them where we can give back our affiliate commission to you guys to basically give you guys 20% off their listed trading fees. So whether you are trading on a smaller account or one of the VIP accounts, makes no difference. You get 20% off those listed fees. So yeah, there's also a deposit bonus running in the background as well. So if you want to check them out, then link will be in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're in the Discord right now, the link is in the Getting Started channel. Right, there's the shout out. Right, okay. So apologies, it's been a couple of weeks since the last time we did a update. We had some things to attend last week. So I'm going to start off, quick trade recap. I'm going to do a detailed trade recap this week so you guys can understand why we took certain trades and understand why we didn't take others. And then I will talk about the levels that I'm looking at next. Okay, because it's a bit choppy at the moment, and even I will admit that. So first and foremost, we're going to start off with last Thursday. Okay, we had a really nice short last Thursday. After this came up and took the weekend highs. So as you can see here, this is from my daily plans on the morning, on the 28th. Bear in mind, this was here. Okay, identifying this is one of my areas of interest. Okay, did I know that this was going to play out? No, I didn't. I just knew it was a place where I was looking to take a trade if a trade presented itself. Okay, so I'm going to keep this really simple. We had a big zone here. It was a big sticky zone. That's what I call a sticky zone, an area of interest. And effectively, the first part of this would have been the golden pocket. Naturally, everyone's looking for the golden pocket because the golden pocket is so well known throughout crypto and trading in general. You know, every man and his dog teaches to use the golden pocket. And this golden pocket was actually quite good because we had quite a lot of confluence on this golden pocket. However, when we came into this golden pocket, we got a bit of a reaction, but it ended up being just a really simple corrective reaction. Now, anyone that understands Elliott Wave, I'm going to assume that a lot of you don't if you're watching this, but we just had a really nice correction after hitting this. Okay, this channels beautifully. And what we can see within this is we just got a really nice simple A, B, C corrective pattern. If you want to get detailed, it's a flat pattern, is this. Okay, a 3, 3, 5. So if you want to take Elliott Wave out of this equation, what would you say to this? If this is major resistance and you are bashing up against it several times, you're consolidating underneath resistance, that's fairly bullish. Yeah. So therefore, then we have the breakout above into this weekend highs. Now, if anyone understands how to trade or has been trading for a while, you will notice there's always some sort of interaction between weekend highs and weekend lows. Okay. Traditional markets don't trade over the weekend, so therefore any liquidity that's built up on both sides over a weekend often gets run. Okay, by liquidity, I just mean simply stop losses. So we're still holding bullish structure. We're grinding up against resistance. Okay, and we've got this weekend liquidity to the side of us. I've also put this trend line on because obviously if you follow anyone on crypto Twitter, you'll probably follow some morons that like their pretty patterns and their pretty triangles and all that crap. And obviously once it gets above this trend line, people are going to start longing to break out. You can even see here on my own TA that I've got a channel on here. Okay, the reason why I use channels is because I tie them into my Elliott Wave counts. So obviously once you're getting above this line, you got your breakout traders coming in, hitting some resistance here, and then they get a bit of follow through. Now, once we start sweeping this and we start getting a low time frame entry up here, then for me that's an easy trigger for a short. Okay, now, did I know this short was going to run all the way down here? Did I? Hell, nobody knows that because nobody's got a crystal ball. Okay, but what helped this, and especially with the sell-off on Monday, was coming into the group over the weekend. Now, bear in mind, I don't trade weekends, but I had to update this, and this was at lunchtime on Sunday. And I'm saying I don't put much weight on CVD over the weekend with thin books. However, bearish absorption going on. Now, what I mean by this, you can see from the screenshot, we've got low, lower high, lower low, and CVD is making a higher high. So what this means is you've got market orders, so market longs, trying to push price up, which is spiking CVD, because that's what CVD is based on, but price is still making lower highs and lower lows. So what you've got there is you've got bearish absorption. You have got bigger sell limit orders sat above these, and every time these guys are trying to market buy into them, price is still dropping. So this is what we call bearish absorption. Flip it around for the opposite if it's going to be bullish absorption, i.e. there's a lot of sellers, but price is starting to go up. Okay, so this is what it means. So therefore this here was the secret sauce. As you can see here, if this 886 doesn't hold, and this is where price was here, okay, in fact no it wasn't, it was, I'm talking about my ass, here, the 886, which is Fibonacci from here to here, then I'm expecting at least Monday lows to be run. Monday lows, and obviously it blasted through. Okay, so I didn't know this was coming, but once you start seeing signs like this, it gives you a bit of a heads up to say, you know what, I'm not really looking for a long down here anymore. I'm going to sit back because quite clearly there's some bigger traders that want to push price lower. Okay, so this is the beauty of this. So in the end, obviously it did go lower, and obviously it nuked all the way down here. So really good trade in the end. Okay, bit technical up here, don't get me wrong, but good trade in the end. So that was Thursday. Now, coming into Monday, this was probably one of the easiest longs I've had in a while, because we had a really high confluence trade down here. Okay, so you can see here, this is from the live stream on the 30th, as we're up into that golden pocket, the one that I've just been referencing here. Okay, and this down here is one of my strongest supports. There were many support levels in between, don't get me wrong, but this was an important support. It was an important support because we had so much confluence down here. Now, anyone that doesn't know me, you'll find out now I'm a confluence trader. So this means I use many different types of technical analysis, and I want it all to overlap in the same area. So what I mean by that, if we look down here where we bounced, we had a daily naked point of control. We had a 1618, put my teeth back in, Fibonacci extension. Let me put this on so you guys can see this trend line. So you can see here, back up to the highs, okay? So we had a 1618 Fib extension. We had an 886 Fibonacci from this low to this high. Effectively, in this case, it's the bull's last defense. You lose that 886, the chances increase dramatically to run those lows. On top of that, you have this uptrend volume profile. From this, up here, and covering all this data. So you add this value area low. So you had a lot of confluence in this space. So when we nuke down and the rest of the market is panicking, fearful, scared, all we're looking for is price to come into a support, get a bounce, and then give us our entry criteria. So we knew the area of interest. The area of interest was here, high confluence zone. Once price gets in there, do we know to take a trade straight away? No, we don't. We wait. Price has moved into our area of interest, and then we're just waiting for a setup trigger. And the setup trigger was really, really simple with this one. We just had, coming down to the 5-minute chart, here's the high that caused the low on the 5-minute. There's the high, there's the low. Gets back above there, there's a market structure break, and then you come back into this 382 Fibonacci. Okay, you can see here, pulled from here up to this high, you got 382 Fibonacci. This for me is good enough for an entry. Huge sell-off. Everyone's still scared. Everyone thinks it's going to go lower. And it could have. It could have. I could have been wrong and I could have been stopped out on this. But for me, high confluence zone, we've got the reaction. I've now got my entry criteria. I take the trade. Okay, so from there, we then get, as we all know, this really healthy bounce to the upside. And then that ties into, where did I take profit on this? Well, the next place I was looking for a short. Okay, we had two zones effectively on this way up here. We had this one here, and you can see this. This is on my plans. This is my plans from that morning. After we'd had that bounce, and I was explaining to the guys on that stream that I'd taken a long trade, I was saying, right, we've got a major sticky zone here, which was around weekly open. But if we get above that, then my next major sticky zone is going to be up here. Now, you can see here, arguably way stronger level is up here. What I'm referring to there is there's a golden pocket just before it. This golden pocket. But sometimes, once again, like what we had up here in the first place, okay, with this, we had a golden pocket, and yet it still went higher. Okay, so same again here. We had this golden pocket. Everyone looks at a golden pocket, but we had arguably more confluence above it. So in this case, we had between the 618 and the 786, we've got 707. This is something that we use in the group. Okay, we had a naked point of control. We had a monthly open. Okay, back into weekend price action once again. Same. It's the same. The only thing is we didn't run it this time. There's a good reason behind that. So for me, as I'm explaining to the guys, Pay attention to these last posts here, which are effectively referencing this stream. If she rejects here, I'll add back into my 105k shorts. Obviously, that's the short that I've got from up here. So then I just added back into that nice and simple. Okay. And this is the part where she's rejected from. Okay. And then once again, for a take profit target, nice and simple. We do a fib extension from here to here to here. We throw it on the old 1-to-1 and look at that. There's your 1-to-1. From that 1-to-1, naked VWAP gets a nice bounce. And now we're just messing around here. Okay. So look for confluence. This is how I trade. I'm a confluence trader. Okay. The more confluence you have in the region, the more likelihood is you will get a reaction from that region. But it's then whether that reaction gives you a trade setup or not. That's the question. If it doesn't give me a trade setup, like for example, here, it didn't, let's pretend it didn't give me a trade setup, it didn't give me my entry criteria, then even if it did this, that's fine, because it didn't give me my setup criteria. I need an area of interest, I need my setup criteria, and then I take the trade. It's got to give both of those two things before I take the trade. Okay, so that's where we are. Now, what am I looking for next? Well, quite simply, we're still within that same range. Okay, nothing's really changed. Okay, nothing's really changed. So this is what I'm looking at the moment. So we're hovering around mid-range right now. We can see here, this value area high has moved down. It was higher. It's moved down now. So this value area high is here. Value area low is down here. So what we've got now is smack bang around the point of control. Is this a high probability area for a directional bias? Do you want to go that way? Or do you want to go that way? This 50-50. So why would we be trading right here? It makes no sense from a high time frame perspective. Yeah, there's low time frame scalps. But why are you going to try picking a direction from there? What we want to do realistically is we want to see price move to an extreme of the range and then look for some reason to take a trade. Okay, so if we move down, let's say we move down. Let's use that as an example first. I'm going to draw a blue line down here because this is important. If we move down, you've got a couple of options down here. And again, this is a little bit complex. Number one, do we just get a simple swing failure pattern of that low? Anyone like me who longed this, that got a good trade, does it just run our stops and start reversing? That's one option. That's one option. My preference, if it is going to come down, is to run these and run these. That would be my preference, because then that way you've grabbed two chunks of liquidity, two chunks of stop losses. Okay, so effectively I'd like it to come down into this zone down here if I'm going to be looking for a new long. Now, I'm not saying I want it to come down here because I think it's going to come down here. I'm saying if it comes down here, then I will look for a new long. Because I've got confluence in this zone. I'm not going to run through every single bit of confluence that I've got, but I've got good confluence in this zone. So if we do come down here, and then it starts to give me my entry criteria, like some sort of market structure change, then I'll look for a long. If it doesn't, and it starts to lose said blue line, then personally, I'm just going to sit back. Because as you can see here on the volume profile, underneath this blue line, there's not much volume support. This was a very thin move up. And we know crypto traders love thin moves when it's happening. Like, yeah, bullish, we're going to the moon. Problem is, if you ever revisit thin areas, you likely just go straight through them. Okay? And if that's the case, then realistically, there's not much support all the way down to a golden pocket. This area down here, once again, same. Golden pocket, 707. This zone here. If we lose this. So again, big if. Right now, 50-50, up or down. I can't tell you. I wish I could, but I can't tell you. But if we do move up, what happens if we move up? Well, if we move up and we take out this week's highs, simple swing failure pattern, great, cool. I've got a short trade again. Nice and simple. Bring it down to the middle of this range around this point of control. If this doesn't happen and it comes higher, we've still got a very big sticky zone here. You can see here on the volume profile, we've still got a very big sticky zone here. I'm not a massive fan of this zone, if I'm being honest. I'd much rather see this push through, take out all these highs, and then potentially create a new all-time high. That'd be the ideal. There is potentially a trade setup within this if it does reject, but I wouldn't say right now it's high probability until we get some more data. But if we do push through all these, then yeah, I do think we will get another all-time high. Now, all-time high, what happens? Does that mean that we smash market long here? No, because you should be long from lower. If this continues up, creating higher highs and higher lows, then why are you not longing higher lows? That makes more sense. Okay, so up here, it's a case of waiting. Does it genuinely break out and then continue up? Great, cool. Or does it fake out and then start to lose it? And in that case, yes, I'd look for a short trade. Nice and easy. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is I know what I want to see if and when price gets to my area of interest. If it gets there and gives me a setup, I will take a trade. If it gets there and doesn't give me a setup, I sit back and wait patiently. Okay? So that's all we're looking for right now. That's all I'm looking for. Okay? Now, before I hand over to Cake, one shout out, because we started doing this as a new theme. Let's get rid of all this. Shout out to Crypto, Trader of the Week, that I've got so far. It's a big shout out to one of our members, Lou, who's been with us for a while. And recently he's really come into his own. So I'm going to give him massive credit for this, because Lou doesn't trade the same way I trade. He tried learning my methods, but he actually prefers Cake's methods. And that's fine. That's the beauty of having two completely different styles and two different types of education within our system. So Lou much rather sees Cake's style of trading rather than mine. And ever since he's then moved back over to Cake's style of trading and then learning from Cake, he's now absolutely nailing it. Like, I can't not give him credit for this, because this is awesome. We take the piss out of each other all the time. He's a great character in the group. He's life and soul of most live streams. But I've got to give him respect, because he really is nailing it. And the beauty of Lou as well is he gets a little bit silly now and again, and he forgets that he's posting most of these charts in the free group rather than the paid group. So therefore, if you are hanging around in the free group, just keep an eye in the trading channel, because Lou posts a lot of these in advance. So learn from him. Okay, so massive shout out, Lou. Massive shout out. I actually genuinely mean that in respect, and I know we take the piss all the time, but I genuinely mean that. Well done. You've done well with that. Right, that's me wrapped up. So now I'm going to hand over to Cake. All yours, mate.
Hello. So I'm going to give you a quick little rundown of some present, past, and future from the TradeFi perspective. So if you don't know what I do, I trade NQ exclusively. I will argue with the people blue in the face that it is the greatest trading asset in the world. Day to day, it's just so volatile, and some of the moves you get are insane. We've also got a crazy catalog of high probability levels based upon hundreds, some thousands of instances with high probability hit rates. So you've got a cool example from today. This is the short that I took on numerous accounts. I've already taken profit on one of them, and I've still got a couple of other trades running now with trailing stops. So the idea here was I came into the market this morning and I was bearish. I had draws on liquidity, which essentially means I have an area in the chart where I expect price to be magnetized towards. I expect price to head there. It's a very, very simple method, and it's something we teach, and that was the plan. We got the open. The open went up. There it is. There's the open. It went up and it ran into this area. At that point, what we were doing is we were just sitting, waiting, watching. And at the time, Spitty was streaming as well. And then we noted that we had this SMT, which is just a fancy term for divergence. So ES had taken this high. ES is the S&P 500, and this is Nasdaq, which is obviously the top tech companies. So ES taken the high, and NQ hadn't. And then what had happened is we took out the previous 1 hour high and formed a nice 5-minute gap. Then we had that inversion there. So that was my entry trigger, and that was where I entered. It was just a quick foray into the TradeFi chat. So just a little insight to what we're up to in here. You can see that we see ES take the high, and I point out here I'm looking for this high to be taken, and I'm looking for weakness, and I'm looking to trade back down towards these lows, and that's exactly what we got. That was the trade we took, and a few of the other guys managed to grab it as well. So you can see here, Burnsy got it, killed it. FA, he took it. A few of the other guys, King Try got it as well, and this place has just been on fire all day. Absolutely loving it, making the crypto guys real jealous. So at the minute, that's what I'm in. That's the present. I'm just chilling, trailing stops. I am looking for this low around here, 690. The guys in the team know exactly what that is, and Spitty wants even lower targets. So if you're looking for a bias today, there it is. We've been bearish all morning, and we're starting to see that follow through. In order for me to change that bias, really, I need to see lower prices in order for me to want to consider long in this thing. But yeah, that's that. So we'll go into the past. So I've got a cheeky little Elliott Wave set up here for you. So this was on Tuesday, and this is what you call like a market maker model. So what you've got here is you've got this little consolidation with these equal highs up here, right? And then we start to move away in London. And then once we get that bounce and then we start coming lower, I'm noting that we're taking this liquidity here. And right there, we form a nice 1 minute breaker block. I enter my position right there on my live account, and I trade that baby all the way up to there. Nice, simple trade. Real good bias in terms of the location of where we are. Another great little piece of alpha for you is mark out where New York midnight is, and basically if you're below it, look for longs. If you're above it, look for shorts. Super simple bias. Go and trade with it, have a go. Yeah, it's pretty great. So that was the long. I did close it out with these highs, and I'm about to show you what trading's also about. Sometimes you just gotta accept that you get your piece of the market, and that's it, because this thing absolutely rocketed, and I called the low. So yeah, not great, but nice to see that the TA is there for us. And yeah, at the minute I'm looking for NQ to trade lower. Like I said, I'm looking for it to come into the 690 area here. Similar with ES, I want to see lower, but it has just hit an important target for me. So I have taken some more profits on my trailing stops. So I've trailed like partial positions on some of my shorts. And yeah, I just want lower so I can go higher, basically, because this thing is just a monster. It's just holding bullish gaps, and it's just clearly in a major uptrend. Something to be aware of. Today you haven't got major news, but tomorrow you've got massive news. You've got unemployment rate, and that is actually for January as well. So you're gonna get last week, this week. Yeah, so you got unemployment rate and NFP on Friday tomorrow. So 1:30 p.m. UTC. Please be aware of that news event. If you trade in crypto, if you trade in Forex, if you trade in futures, whatever you're trading, that will have an effect on the market, okay? Because that's a big deal. The unemployment rate for January is, if that comes in as it's climbing, then that essentially says that there's a labor market sort of weakness, and the economy is not going to like that. So just be aware of that. And that's about it for NQ. I'm just going to leave you with one little tidbit. So for future instances as well, I quite like ETH for this particular reason here. You've got a naked daily gap. Little hint there into what I typically look for draws on liquidity. There you've got that daily gap that hasn't been interacted with yet. So me personally, I would quite like to look for longs on ETH, but I'm in no rush, and I'll probably defer to Bitcoin and how Spitty sees the market as well. That's the beautiful thing about having a team and having a community, is we can all use each other's experience and knowledge, and know when to get in and know when to step away. And yeah, from what I've been hearing from Spitty and all that, it's not really a time to engage in Bitcoin right now, especially with the big news coming tomorrow as well. I'll reevaluate and see what's going on with crypto. But yeah, that's it. I'm chilling short. I'm happy with my profits. I took some profits right here. You can see I popped that into profit shots earlier. This was the first execution. Nice 1K on that account. And obviously that was the trade. Satfinder as well, he caught it there. Jeff T caught it there as well. And just a shout out to these guys and the rest of the TradeFi group, like Bernsey, Odinson, King Try, like all those guys are absolutely smashing it. Sapphire as well, you smashed it, bro. Yeah, we're popping off in here. Frosties as well, well in, bro. Yeah, it's just it's a great group. I said it earlier. Just such a fun place to be. You know, you come for the TA, but you stay for the laughs. Let's be honest. And that's me. I'm done.
Nice one, mate. I think